God designed us to be a whole, made of many parts. Each one works synergically and perfectly fitted together, just as He designed it. Many times when in the Bible we read about the church, the usual metaphor is the physical body. In Ephesians 4:16 we read, "From whom the whole body, joined and knit together by what every joint supplies, according to the effective working by which every part does its share, causes growth of the body for the edifying of itself in love." Oh yeah, my favorite scripture, where we find the perfect expression of divinely aligned synergy. And again in 1 Corinthians 12:26, "And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it." In other words, when one part of the body is affected, the others join in that affection, whether to support it for recovery or to accompany in death. Yes, God designed it. Science confirms it. Grief weakens the body. We can conclude that the Bible and medical knowledge agree that in fact, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 17:22, NIV. Even language supports the connection between soul and body, the intangible finding an expression in the tangible. English terms for emotional distress are often wrapped up in the language of physical maladies, being heartsick, sick with grief, heartbroken. The Old English word for grief, heartsarns, literally means soreness of the heart. Heartache originates from the Old English hortus, originally used to refer to heart disease. The word hurt and pain can apply equally to suffering of the mind or of the body. There is a range of studies that reveal the powerful effects grief can have on the body. Grief increases inflammation, which can worsen health problems, old and new ones. It batters the immune system, leaving you depleted and vulnerable to infection. The heartbreak of grief can increase blood pressure and the risk of blood clots. Intense grief can alter the heart muscle so much that it causes broken heart syndrome, a form of heart disease with the same symptoms as a heart attack. It is important to point out that stress links the emotional and physical aspects of grief. The systems in the body that processes physical and emotional stress overlap, and emotional stress can activate the nervous system as easily as physical threats can. Research shows that emotional pain activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. This may be why pain-killing drugs ranging from opioids to Tylenol have been shown to ease emotional pain. Now, I have shared a lot of important and fascinating information, biblically and scientifically, but I would like to address the practical aspects of dealing with the death of a loved one during this time we are all living together. Can we consider the following questions? Is it possible to grieve properly and to remain healthy in the COVID-19 era? How can we keep healthy while mourning and burying our beloved mother, father, child, or friend without compromising our health? Allow me to give you some practical advice. New practices for new times. Some might sound a bit callous, but if you were to choose to follow these suggestions, you will be able to go on caring and providing for your family, healthy and strong. Number 1, boost your immune system and strengthen your health. Your immune system helps your body fight against infections. For an immune system to be healthy, various components of your body, like the cells in your skin, blood, bone marrow, and organs, need to be working optimally. This is the only way it can stop disease-causing microbes from entering your body. Because of the COVID-19, you can find numerous sites where suggestions are made to deliberately strengthen your immune system. But in reality, there is no one way to do it quickly. A strong immune system is built over time as you put in daily, consistent effort to maintain healthy habits. Nevertheless, you and your doctor can take some preventive measures when confronted with an emergency situation with a loved one. Number 2, learn to rest and relax. This might seem difficult to imagine when you are caring for someone with a critical illness, but it is imperative for us to make the effort when possible. When we sleep, our bodies produce a protein called cytokines, which target infection and inflammation, creating an immune response. Our bodies also produce T cells during sleep, which are white blood cells that play a critical role in our body's immune response to an infectious disease such as COVID-19. Making sure our body has a chance to rest and recover from the day is important for your immune system to function at full strength. Reading, practicing a hobby, knitting, watching movies, gardening, etc. are some ways that you can allow your mind to relax. I also would like to encourage you to practice the spiritual discipline of silence and meditation. Number 3, do not hold a public wake or funeral. It is normal and expected that friends and relatives accompany the grieving family when a loved one dies. But we must consider that in the reality that we now share in our world, a conglomeration of people who are sincerely offering condolences, usually with a hug, is not the safest for the mourners. My suggestion is to hold a private wake or funeral. Only allow family and a few close friends. Depending on the room provided by the funeral home and the number of relatives, make sure that there is enough space to provide adequate distancing. Since the burial is an open-air event, it can be public, but I recommend using the same protocol as described in the next point. Number 4, write a concise but gentle note explaining the protocol at the funeral home. Send this note in an email or any other convenient form of communication. The note might read as follows. Dear family, my children and I deeply appreciate your desire to bless us with your presence at the funeral home. Our loving wife and mother is now rejoicing in her heavenly home, but here on earth, our hearts mourn for her absence. We would like to request that you follow the protocol listed below. Please understand that our desire is to protect her family, who is now strained and weakened by the grief of our loss. Number 1, wear a mask at all times. Number 2, abstain from hugs. Number 3, keep a reasonable distance. Thank you so much for your consideration of our requests. Your compliance shows great love and respect to our family and honors the memory of our beloved Katie. My desire to write this article is to help you avoid the mistakes and oversights of our own family. After the death of my mother from Alzheimer's, we did not take into consideration what I wrote above. At the moment of writing this post, 4 of our closest relatives are infected with COVID-19, including me. I assisted my mother day and night for 2 weeks before she died. I was able to protect my 80-year-old father against the late-night vigils and nourished him with specialty fortified shakes. But my body was tired, and grief had weakened me. We are thankful that we were able to keep my father safe, but I was not so lucky. Please consider my words of advice. If we use wisdom and intentionality, I believe we can keep healthy while mourning. I do believe that it is possible to grieve properly and to remain healthy in the COVID-19 era. Obviously, it's too late for me, but maybe these words will arrive just in time for you. Now, there are no particular questions this time in my coaching corner. Just a reminder that I am here if you need someone to talk to or if you need more practical ideas to cope with the grief you and your family are going through. Just send me a note at hello@spokenquietly.com. Believe me, I understand. But more than anything, I want you to know that God knows and has already provided for you. It is God who comforts us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble with a comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. 2 Corinthians 1:4.